There is a little-known collection from NFL Films that features no player interviews and no great games. I wouldn't panic over it not having these things, though, because the collection itself is quite well composed. Enter Autumn Thunder. Autumn Thunder is a collection of songs used throughout the history of NFL Films. This particular set was to commemorate NFL Films' 40th anniversary in 2004. And the songs were mainly composed by Sam Spence, Tom Hedden, and David Bobidoux. Spence is largely responsible for the sounds of football from the 60s and 70s. While Hedden and Bobidoux cover the more modern era. Let's get something straight. This is not an average CD collection. For starters, look at its size. Here it is compared to an average CD. This will fit better in more bookcases than CD holders. And Autumn Thunder is covered in a material done to mimic that of a football. Also, just look at that logo. Mine was printed a little weird, so here's a better look. That's so cool. Whoever designed that, thank you. The collection also contains a mini novel with words from the main three composers. I could nitpick about missing apostrophes. And I'm pretty sure this page is missing a logo and supposed to look more like this page, but it's an interesting read and worth it just for the quotes at the end. So let's get to the CDs themselves. There are 10 of them and collectively hold over 8 hours of music. And if you're any sort of fan of the NFL, trust me, you've heard some of these songs. And if you're any viewer of NFL Network, you may notice this part of a chilling championship is remixed into their top 10 lists. Some of the songs selected can be a little weird. For instance, on the same CD, it'll go from something like The Clue, you know, classic, football music, iconic. And then just a few songs later, it'll be something like Take 6, which I can best describe as retro, elevator, lounge music. This is football? And if you're a fan of a particular animated yellow sponge, you may notice more than a few songs are used in the show. Here are a few that might ring a bell or two for fans. Oh, there's still more. those are just the ones I recognized. Now, for all the oddities of this collection, there is something to be said about the quality and presence of NFL Films music when it's used in other sports.
Gonzalez digs into the plate, and the 0-1 delivery. And a little blooper. Base hit! Diamondbacks win! They're the world champions! Gonzalez did it! The Diamondbacks have unseated the New York Yankees as the world champions!
Now, there are other collections of NFL Films music, like 1998's The Power and the Glory, the original music and voices of NFL films. But that collection isn't even an hour long, and most of its songs can be found on Autumn Thunder. Now, if you're thinking about picking up one of these and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, a collection of CDs from the mid-2000s? This should be cheap. Allow me to burst your bubble and just say, it's not. Okay, it's not that bad if you look at other places and wait for the right opportunity, though. These have been kept, for the most part, in good condition. So I wouldn't be too scared about buying one used. I bought mine used. And I was the first one to crack the spine on the little booklet, and it seemed like only the first 3 CDs were touched, which is kinda sad. And for the NFL's 100th season, I was expecting a newer entry with, newer songs to be released. But that never happened. So this may be the only way to physically own these songs. So, if you're interested in the music used within the game, if you're just a fan of this style of music, or you're like me and just wanted to know what these songs were called and what the titles were, well, I hope you can get your hands on one.